wanted to show you in this little clip how to create nested shapes from one of the shapes that's in the on the USB. And what I love about it is you can be really specific. So you can do them at 1/4 millimeter increments if you're working on an STX. But in Canvas, it's 1 millimeter increments, which actually is a really nice mat and layer. And mats and layers are really important, you know, whether you're doing card making or you're doing scrapbooking. And there's lots of different ways to use mats and layers to draw the recipient's eye to a certain part of a scrapbook page or a card. So it's really nice to be able to show you how you can create these from one of the shapes. You can do it with all of the shapes, but I'm just going to show you with one of them. So you can go from the small right up to big. And you will see, especially on this one here, this is the original shape. So this black one here is the original. As we create offset lines, it's different to just making it bigger, because what an offset does is it starts at the outside edge and it kind of measures up. This is how it does it in my head. I'm sure it's done, there's a technical word for it. But if I ask it to do a 2 mil outward offset line, it will measure 2 mil from every point on the edge of this black shape. And then it will create this shape, which is why you get a rounded shape there, whereas that one is very pointed. It then starts to round because it takes 2 mil from every point. Then it goes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So card blank, mats and layers, sentiment plaque, mats and layers, and it's really cool. So let's go and choose a shape. Let's do a different one to this so that we can see. So I'm going to bring in I would recommend you print these off. These will be available as a download for you. So let's choose, I don't know. Let's just choose that one. So 8 by 8 and number 3. Okay. Now, just because it says 8 by 8 doesn't mean it has to be that size. You can make it smaller or bigger, but that's the kind of card sizes that we worked with. So 8 by 8, number 3. So to do that, if you've got a Wi-Fi enabled machine, you can bring it onto your scan and cut screen and send it into Canvas. But I want to cut with this education to cover everybody. So I'm going to show you how I've done everything that I'm teaching you today, because I love Canvas Workspace. I never, ever, ever thought I would say those words, but I love it because it just opens up this whole universe of creativity. Right, so let me show you how to get a file. So my USB is plugged into the computer. I'm going to go to SVG here. Now, if you've got an original scan and cut and you have never ever updated it since you bought it, you need to go to Brother Solutions Centre UK and do an update on your machine, because the original machines didn't read SVG files. It came as a free update. So go and do an update if you've never done one. And then you'll have this. So SVG, I'm going to go to Choose File, and that opens up my computer. So I'm going to go down to SVG Cardmaker's Compendium Volume 1, and I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to go to Card Shapes. So we're going to click on that, and it opens up these for you. So we want 8 by 8, and we want number 3. And I'm just double clicking each time. So I've chosen file 003, and now I'm going to press OK. And it opens up this. Now, what I got the designers to do was do 4 for you with a 2 millimeter incremental mat and layer. So this one, the second one is 2 mil offset line, then a 4 mil offset line, and then a 6 mil offset line. I'm going to show you how to do it by yourself. So I'm going to move that one out of the way, and I'm just going to drag across those and put those in the bin, because you might not want 2 mil, you might want 1 mil, you might want 5 mil. It's entirely up to you. So I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller by just pushing back like that. And then I'm going to go up to Edit up here, because I want to now start to create mats and layers for my project. So I'm going to go to Edit. And in Edit, inside here, there are these 2 concentric circles with what looks like a letter H at the top. That's showing you the width, the distance between the inside circle and the outside circle. So when I click on that, it says, when I hover over it, it says Create Offset Line. I'm going to click on there, and let's do a 1 millimeter one first of all. So just click right at the bottom. I want it, let's do inward first. So I want a 1 millimeter inward offset line, but I want to leave the original as it is for now. and then I press OK. And that's going to give me a slightly smaller one that's on the inside. But the other really cool thing is it always keeps the original selected, okay? So you don't have to keep finding the one that you've just done to then do another offset. And I always do offsets from the original shape. I find it works better. You get a really nice layered effect then. So with that one still highlighted, the original still highlighted, I can go back in and I can create this time maybe a 3mm inward offset line and keep the original as it is. So now you can see you've got your other layer, but you can also go outward. So if I go to edit and go to here, and we'll do a 3mm outward offset line this time, and we press OK, it's now given me a bigger one on the outside. And now you can clearly see that it's kept the original one highlighted. So then I'll go in and I could do another one, and we did 3, so let's do 5, which will give us a 2mm bigger than the one that we've literally just done. So if I press OK, now you can start to see how you can build up your mats and layers. Now, if you suddenly think, well, I like those layers, I'm happy that I've got all the different ones. So the rule of thumb for me is the narrower the border, so the smaller the offset, the more elegant the mat layer looks. The wider you go, the more chunkier it becomes and the more childlike it becomes for me. So I'll always work with either 1, 2 or 3. If I'm doing something for a child, I would probably do 3, 4 and 5. And it's a really good little tip to have that. But if I suddenly think, right, well, I love that shape and I love the mat layers, but I want them bigger or smaller, all I'm going to do is left click on my mouse and drag all of those together. I'm going to go to edit and group them. And then I'm going to use this to make them smaller or bigger. And you will see in the bottom corner of the screen, just down here, it shows you the size. Okay, so I'm going to drag that smaller or bigger. And the increments will still stay the same because you haven't changed the shape of the size of the shape, as in making it 2mm taller and 1mm wider. You've created an offset line, so it's a bit more accurate, to be honest. And then what you could do is just go to edit and ungroup them, tap the screen or click your mouse to delete the shape, and then you've got all your layers like that. And then you can download that, and that's your card base started. So that's how you mat and layer on Canvas Workspace. So I hope that's given you some information and helped you, giving you some ideas of what to do with the basic shapes that we're giving you, because that for me is really exciting. And then you can start to weld shapes together to make other label shapes. So you've got thousands of options from 30 single shapes, which is great. Okay, I'll see you in a minute.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.